Grand Rising, everybody. It's me again with another podcast. Yes. And I'm reading again. Why? Because, yes, I still get nervous. Okay? When I end me reading scripts, I don't know. Okay, this is another solo episode. I want to start by saying a few things clearly. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not here to give medical advice. What I'm sharing is my lived experience, my observations, and information from me reading, and how certain beliefs grew inside of me over time. Everyone deserves the right to research and question and make their own choices. This episode is about grief, autonomy, and the limits of systems. Not about telling anyone what they should do. The moment after my dad passed away, my brother wanted to go to the hospital. He wanted them to bring him back, not forever, just long enough to talk to him. That moment stayed with me, not because it was unreasonable, because it was human. Grief does not ask logical questions. It asks desperate ones. Okay, for context. My dad had pneumonia. My dad had pneumonia multiple times. And I understood from experience, the older you are, the sicker you are, the harder it is for the body to bounce back. Pneumonia is just a sickness. And it's an exhausting, it exhausts the body. I also had pneumonia when I was very young. I don't remember my exact age, but I remember the pain. I remember not being able to walk comfortably. I remember how much it took out of me, and I was young. I worked in a CNA in a nursing home. I wasn't making medical decisions. I wasn't diagnosing anyone, but I was present. I watched bodies change. I watched who recovered and who didn't. I overheard conversations between nurses and doctors. I learned by proximity, by patterns, by outcome. I also knew something else. Resuscitation isn't gentle. CPR often breaks ribs, revival doesn't mean restoration, especially in older and already sick bodies. So when my brother wanted our dad back, I wasn't dismissing his love. I was trying to protect him from more trauma. I want to be honest where I stand. I don't trust modern medicine, surgery, and default solutions. That doesn't mean I think doctors are evil. It means I believe the system often prioritizes intervention over understanding, compliance over curiosity. And I've always believed people should research for themselves and choose what aligns with their bodies, values, and intuition. For example, if I were to become pregnant again, I wouldn't choose a hospital birth, prenatal care, or medical oversight. That's my personal decision. No advice, just honesty. Watching a movie with my dad when I was 16 was the seed. It was a Lifetime movie. I don't remember the name, but I remember the story. I remember a little boy who suffered from epileptic seizures. He wore a helmet. He slept in a crib. He was heavily medicated. His mother questioned whether medication alone was the only path. She studied. She worked with a nutritionist. She changed his diet. And by the end of the movie, the seizures stopped. I didn't walk away thinking I had answers. I walked away realizing I had questions. My dad had the same condition. I asked him if he wanted to try anything like what the mom did in the movie. He said they had help. I offered to do the research myself. He declined. And I respected that. Watching the movie with my dad was the seed. But it wasn't one moment that shaped how I think. It was everything that came after. Working as a CNA, seeing illnesses close up, listening to conversations in hallways, experiencing pain in my own body, losing people I loved. This was a belief I picked up overnight. It grew slowly over time through lived experiences. And what grew from that wasn't certainty. It was a belief about autonomy and asking questions, researching for yourself, and choosing what feels right in your own body, your own and choosing what feels right in your own body, your own life. even when there are no guarantees. The question that lingers, I still wonder, what could have happened if my dad said yes? Not because I think I could have saved him, but because grief doesn't just miss people. It replays possibilities. I'm not sharing this to say there was a right or wrong choice. My dad chose his path. Respecting that was also love. I'm sharing this because grief often carries questions that never gets answers. And we are not taught how to sit with that. We ask medicine to fix grief, but some things are meant to be fixed. They're meant to be understood, or at least witnessed. If this episode brought something up for you, take your time with it. And remember, autonomy includes honoring your own questions, even when they don't resolve. Thank you for listening. Slow connection.